Okay, so this time our topic is about creating a student-centered climate, no? A student-centered climate in education prioritize the needs, interests, and overall well-being of students. So of course, it fosters an environment where learners feel valued, supported, and empowered to take ownership of their education. This approach moves away from traditional teacher-centered instruction and instead encourages active participation, critical thinking, and personalized learning experiences. In a student-centered climate, the focus is on holistic development, no? Considering not just academic achievement but also social, emotional, and personal growth. One of the key elements of a student-centered climate is fostering a sense of belonging and inclusivity, no? So school must create an atmosphere where students from diverse backgrounds feel respected and included. And this can be achieved through culturally responsive teaching, anti-bullying policies, and student-led initiatives, no, that promote diversity, equity, and inclusion. When students feel safe and accepted, they are more likely to engage in learning and express their thoughts freely. So, to give us more details about the topic, let us all welcome our presenter this afternoon. Go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, good afternoon po. I am Alejandro Godoy. My topic is creating student-centered learning climate. At the end of this session, we have 3 here learning outcomes. First is develop strategies to foster an inclusive and supportive learning environment for all students. Second, implement student-centered teaching approaches that promote active engagement and collaboration. And last, evaluate and improve school policies to enhance student well-being and academic success. Okay, next. First is child-friendly schools, a comprehensive guide. So this topic, it explores the key characteristics of a child-friendly school, highlighting its benefits and providing insights into creating a positive and supportive learning environment for all children. Okay. Key characteristic of a child-friendly school. First is safe and inclusive. So a child-friendly school creates an environment that respects the rights of every child. So it fosters a sense of belonging, ensuring children feel secure and valued. Halimbawa, may mga guro na nagtuturo sa paraang hindi sila naghuhusga at mga estudyante na binibigyan sila ng pantay na pagkakataon sa mga aktibidad na kahit ano ang kanilang mga pinagmulan or kakayahan. Okay, next is active learning. So it emphasizes engaging activities that encourage critical thinking creativity. So help children develop problem-solving skills while making learning enjoyable. So let's say sa klase ng science, ang mga pupils or estudyante gumagawa ng experiment sa halip na puro lecture lamang. So pinapayagan silang magtanong or mag-explore sila. Next is community engagement. So it highlights the importance of collaboration with families and the community. So it ensures the development and learning are shared responsibility. Kaya mayroon yung nagkakaroon sila ng mga pista or mga foundation, pista sa paaralan, kung saan naimbita ang mga magulang at mga local na komunidad upang magbahagi ng mga kaalaman at suporta sa mga project ng paaralan. Okay, next is inclusive and gender-sensitive environment. Education for all. So focuses on equal opportunities for every child, regardless of gender, background, or ability. So it ensures no discrimination in education on participation. Kaya sinisigurado lahat ng mga bata na makilahok sila ano man ang kanilang mga kasarian o physical na kakayahan. Next is respect and diversity. So it celebrates diversity, promoting an inclusive environment wherein everyone feels valued. So it encourages fostering mutual respect among peers and educators. Next is participatory approach with community engagement. So involving children. So actively includes children in decision-making processes within the school. So it ensures their voices and opinions are heard and considered. Halimbawa, bago sila ipatupad ang bagong patakaran sa uniform, tinatanong muna sila kung ano yung mga dapat nilang gawin. Gumagawa sila ng batas kung hindi sila naka-uniform, ano yung mumulta ba sila? Yun po. Next is parent participation. So encourage parents to take part in school governance and activities. So it promotes shared responsibility between schools and families. Kaya meron yung parent-teacher forum kung saan ang mga magulang nagbabagi sila ng kanilang mga opinion ukol sa mga disiplina or sa program sa school. Okay, next is number 3 is community partnerships. So builds connections with local organizations and communities. So it offers additional sources and support systems for children. Okay, this is slide promoting children's rights and dignity. First is respect. So children should feel valued and safe in their surroundings, ensuring this builds their confidence and trust in the system. Next is protection. So it emphasizes safeguarding children from harm, ensuring their physical, emotional, and mental well-being. Next is partnership or participation. So by involving children, decision-making processes, we empower them, building their sense of agency and responsibility. Kaya ang mga bata ay binibigyan ng pagkakataon na magbahagi ng kanilang mga idea kapag nagdedesisyon sa mga aktibidad sa klase tulad ng mga pagpili ng mga tema or sa event kung ano yung gusto nila sa sports. Okay, next slide is fostering active engaged learning. So first is experiential learning. So by using hands-on activities, learning becomes more fun and practical. So sa halip na magturo lang ng teorya o theory sa kalikasan, ang mga bata minsan meron yung di ko alam kung ginagawa pa rin ng school kapag pupunta sa field trip upang maranasan nila or video presentation na lang. Okay, next is inquiry-based learning. So encouraging curiosity and exploration fosters a child's ability to think critically and independently. So sa klase, hinahayaan ng mga guro ng mga bata na magtanong tulad ng example sa science, paano nagiging ulan ang tubig, at tinutulungan silang tuklasin kung anong sagot ang mga tinatanong nila. Okay, next is creative expression. So providing children with outlets like art of music helps in emotional expression in talent and development. So may hinahayaan ng mga bata, let's say kapag sa subject na MAPE, sila ay magpinta, gumagawa sila ng mga awiting bilang bahagi ng kanilang aralin. Yun po. Next is ensuring health, safety, and protection. First is cleanliness. So a Hygienic environment prevents illnesses and supports overall health. So, ang mga paraan dapat regular na nalilinisan at sinisiguro na may sapat na hand washing stations para sa mga bata. Second is safety. So, implementing robust safety measures ensures children can learn and play without fear of them. Kaya meron yung mga school na may CCTV na and emergency drills sa eskwelahan upang mapanatiling ligtas ang mga bata. Next is nutrition. So access to healthy food is vital to physical and mental development. Kaya nagbibigay ang paaralan ng mga masustansyang pagkain sa kanilang feeding program tulad ng pagbibigay ng lugaw, gulay at prutas. Okay, next slide is addressing diverse learning needs. First is differentiated instruction. So customizing teaching methods to suit individual learning needs. So sa klase ng math, gumagamit ng iba't ibang gawain para sa mga estudyante. Kaya visual aids para sa mga visual learners, word problems para sa mga mahilig sa pagbabasa, and hands-on activities para sa mga kinesthetic learners. Second is inclusive practices. So creating an environment that is welcoming for all children, regardless of ability or disability. Kaya ang isang guro ay nagtuturo ng aralin sa klase kung saan may mga batang may kapansanan sa pandinig. Kaya gumagamit sila ng sign language or interpreter or visual assistant tailored to children with special needs. Next is special needs support. So providing providing resources and assistance tailored to children with special needs. Yun, kaya meron yung school, special na guro, or yung tinatawag na SNED, special needs. Meron silang therapy sessions para sa mga batang may autism upang masiguro na angkop ang kanilang karanasan sa pag-aaral. Okay, so schools should adapt to meet every learner's unique requirements to foster equitable learning opportunities. Next is measuring and improving school quality. First is data collection. So regular assessment of student learning and school metrics. So regular na ginaganap ang mga assessments kada buwan upang malaman ang progreso ng bawat estudyante sa lahat ng asignatura. Or meron yung first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter. Kung nag-improve ba ang bata sa pag-aaral or hindi. Okay, next is feedback and reflection. So using collected data to identify areas of improvement. So pagkatapos ng quarterly exam, kaya nagsagawa ng pulong or meeting na suriin ang resulta at gumawa ng plano upang tulungan ang mga nahirapan, especially in science or math, and pati English. Next is continuous improvement. So fostering culture of lifelong learning and development within the school. So matapos ang quarterly exams, dito, to develop a culture of ongoing learning and improvement. Kaya ano kayo yung dapat mong gawin sa isang bata kung ano yung lackings niya. Yun po. Next is building a sustainable child-friendly school model. So creating sustainable child-friendly school model requires ongoing commitment, collaboration, and a shared vision for providing quality education for all children. Next, second is creating a student-centered learning climate, differentiated instruction. So it will explore the key elements of creating a student-centered learning environment through the lens of differentiated instruction. Okay, understanding student-centered learning. First is student-centered learning. So focuses on the individual needs and interests of each student. So empowers students to take ownership of their learning. And third is creates a more engaging and motivating learning experience. So this approach shift the focus from teacher-led to student-driven education that allowing students to thrive in personalized and meaningful learning environment. Kaya, yun. Next is benefits. So, higher engagement and motivation. So, improve academic outcomes, development of critical thinking, and problem-solving skills. Next is implementing differentiated instruction or differentiated instruction. First is readiness. So, addressing students' prior knowledge and skills to provide appropriate support and challenges. So, acknowledging what students already know to provide appropriate challenges and support. Next is interest. Tailoring learning activities to align with students' passion and areas of interest. So customizing learning activities to match students' passions and interests. Next is learning profiles. Understanding students' preferred learning styles and using diverse materials and methods. So differentiated instruction ensures inclusivity by catering to varied student needs and preferences, making learning more effective and enjoyable. Next is assessing student needs. First is pre-assessments. So determine prior knowledge and identify learning gaps. Next is student interviews. So gain insights into students' passion and learning goals. And third is learning style inventories. So explore preferred ways of learning, just like visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. So this slide, regular assessments allows educators to adapt teaching strategies and materials for maximum impact. Together, these concepts emphasizes the importance of personalizing education to improve learning outcomes and foster a more collaborative and enriching classroom experience. Next is designing flexible learning experiences. First is choice boards. So, allowing students to choose from various activities fosters engagement by addressing their interests and needs. Second is shared activities. So these activities cater to different skill levels, helping all learners engage at their pace. Example, offering basics, intermediate, and advanced versions of the same activity. Next is learning centers. So creating specialist zones in a classroom for hands-on learning in different subjects or skills. Kaya merong reading corner, merong science experiment, station, or a coding table. Okay, incorporate tools like online platforms. So to provide flexibility in virtual settings. Next is providing meaningful feedback. First is formative feedback. Provide ongoing feedback to guide student learning and identify areas for improvement. Kaya meron yung commenting on a draft of essay with suggestions before final submission. Kaya nagfi-feedback kung ano yung mga pinapasa nila para ma-improve ang kanilang mga ginagawa. Next is descriptive feedback. Focusing on strengths and areas for improvement. So instead of saying, good job, try to your introduction was engaging. Consider adding examples to support your argument. Next is self-assessment. Is empowering students to reflect on their progress. Kaya meron tayong, we are using rubrics or self-checklist to evaluate the students in their performance. So feedback should be specific, actionable, and timely to help students grow effectively. Next is fostering a collaborative environment. First is respectful communication. So encouraging kindness and consideration in a group interactions. Dapat na respeto din. Kung ano yung tinatanong ng bata, dapat hindi i-bypass para mayroong kindness and consideration. Next is active listening. So teaching students to listen attentively and understand others' perspective. Next, third is shared goals. So aligning efforts toward common objectives, group projects where roles are divided, but the outcome is a collective success. Kaya meron yung kapag magpapa-activity tayo, group activity. Sometimes na ginagawa natin. Okay, next is overcoming challenges. First is time management. So setting realistic deadlines and prioritizing essential tasks. Kaya kapag magbibigay tayo ng PT nila or performance task, merong deadline ibinibigay sa atin meron tayong ibinibigay na deadline sa pagpasa nila. Next is resource allocation. So efficient use of materials and tools for lessons. Next, third is assessment adaptation. So modifying assessments to suit diverse learners. Kaya we are offering oral, written, or project-based options to demonstrate understanding. Kaya teachers need to balance planning and flexibility while adapting to their students' diverse needs. Okay, conclusion and next steps. So creating a student-centered learning climate is an ongoing process that requires commitment, flexibility, and a focus on student needs. By implementing differentiated instruction practices and fostering a supportive classroom environment, teachers can empower students to become active and engaged learners. Okay, third is creating a student-centered learning climate. In a rapidly evolving world, education must adapt to meet the needs of diverse learners. So this topic explores the key elements of creating a student-centered learning climate, fostering a dynamic and engaging environment that empowers students to thrive. Okay? Defining student-centered learning. First is shifting focus. So this concept redefines the traditional teacher-centered model. Instead of the teacher being the sole source of knowledge, the focus shifts toward students becoming active participants in their learning. So this means more hands-on activities ang ginagawa natin, discussions, and real-world applications. Examples, halip na magturo lang ng direkta tungkol sa mga, let's say, sa math, formula ng math, hayaan na lang natin na ang mga estudyante na maghanap ng mga tunay na situation tulad ng pagtukoy ng, let's say sa math is gastos sa groceries, gamit ng budget, ina-apply natin into real life situation. Next is individualized learning. So it highlights how every student learns differently. Student-centered learning creates a room for personalized instruction tailored to individual strengths, interests, and challenges. So this enhances engagement and ensures a more inclusive inclusive approach to education. Next is benefits of a student-centered approach. First is increased engagement. So students are more involved in activities, making them more invested in their education. So this approach often results in better comprehension and retention of material. Kaya magkakaroon ng group activity kung saan bawat estudyante ay nagpapakita ng kanilang natutunan gamit ang mga example, role-playing o paggawa ng mga mini-task nila. Next is enhanced motivation. So empowering students with the ability to make choices in their learning fosters a sense of ownership. Kaya this intrinsic motivation can lead to a lifelong love for learning. Kaya pinapayagan ng estudyante na yung kung let's say sa MAPE, gumagawa sila ng mga nagdo-drawing sila or video, mga sayaw, or sumusulat ng mga sanaysay para ipakita ang kanilang galing sa pag-unawa ng isang aralin. Okay, next, improve critical thinking. So this approach challenges students to think independently, to solve problems, and be creative. So these skills are essential in modern education and beyond, preparing them for real-world challenges. Next is fostering an inclusive and supportive classroom environment. Respectful interactions. So establishing norms for respectful dialogue and collaboration ensures that every student feels safe to express their opinions. A respectful environment encourages participation and nurtures diverse viewpoints. Kaya before we start a discussion, pwedeng magtakda ng classroom rules tulad ng walang pag-uusga sa opinion ng iba. Kasi kung minsan, nahihiya ang isang bata or mag-recite dahil ang mga classmate niya ay tinatawanan. Kaya dapat may respectful interactions. Okay, next, valuing differences. So recognizing and celebrating diversity enriches the classroom experience. Acknowledging unique perspective creates an inclusive space where students feel valued. Kaya meron tayong iba't ibang tradisyon sa mga estudyante sa pamagitan ng pagkilala ng kanilang kultura or lengguwahe. Next is building relationships. So strong relationships among students, teachers, and staff foster a sense of belonging. These relationships are vital for a collaborative and supportive classroom environment. Kaya meron yung nagkakaroon ng buddy system kung saan ang mga bagong estudyante ay tutulungan ng mga matagal na sa paaralan para mas maging komportable sila. Next is encouraging student voice and choice. Open dialogue. Okay, creating opportunities for students to voice their thoughts through discussions, debates, or feedback encourages ownership of their learning. Kaya meron open forum kung saan maaring magtanong o magbigay ng suggestion ng mga estudyante tungkol sa paraan ng pagtuturo. Okay, next is personalized learning paths. So offering varied learning tasks that align with student interests, caters to different learning styles and strengths, ensuring active participation and growth. Next is collaborative decision making. So involving students in decisions about classroom rules or projects helps them feel respected and builds essential leadership and teamwork skills. Okay, next is promoting active and engaged learning. First is interactive activities. So incorporate games, simulations, role-playing, and other hands-on activities that promotes active engagement and make learning more memorable. Kaya mas active or maganahan ang mga bata kung ganito ang gagawin natin. Next is collaborative projects. Is encourage teamwork and collaboration through group activities, allowing students to learn from each other and share their expertise. Kaya foster teamwork through group projects. Kaya students collaborate on a science, let's say, science experiment, analyzing data, and presenting results. Next is, third is inquiry-based learning. So facilitate student-led investigations and research, allowing them to ask questions, explore solutions, and develop critical thinking skills. So encourage the student-led research and critical thinking. Kaya students investigate local environmental issues and their proposed solutions. Next is incorporating real-world relevance and personalization. First is connecting learning. So link classroom concepts to real-world applications, demonstrating the relevance of learning and its connection to students' lives. So relate lessons to real-world application. So let's say kanina, you teach fraction by having students create and adjust recipe. Ano yung i-apply natin kapag fraction ang topic? Let's say, in real world, bibili ka ng pizza, yun po, bibigay mo ang isa sa kanya, they use fraction. Or in the lessons, into, i-apply natin into real world application. Next is project-based learning. Engage students in projects that require them to solve authentic problem, design solutions, and present their findings. So engage students in involving authentic problems. So design a community service project such as improving waste management in their area. Next, third is personalized learning paths. So offer a variety of learning resources, tools, and activities that cater to individual learning styles and interests, allowing students to pursue their passions. So offer tools that cater to individual learning styles and interests. Kaya let students choose project based on their passion, like creating art, coding, or writing a story. So connect classroom concepts to real-world applications to demonstrate the relevance of learning. Personalization through diverse tools and learning paths caters the individual interests, motivating students. Next slide is providing timely and constructive feedback. First is purposeful feedback. So provide a feedback that is specific, timely, and focused on student growth and improvement, offering guidance and suggestions for improvement. Anong purpose mo sa pag-feedback ng isang bata? So, give specific and timely. So, yung kanina, instead of saying good job, provide a comment like your essay is strong, but improve your thesis for clarity. Okay, next is multiple channels. Utilize various methods of feedback such as written comments, verbal discussions, and online platforms to cater to diverse learning style. So use diverse methods to provide feedback, like written notes or one-on-one discussions, or you use online tools for peer reviews and teacher evaluations. Next is student self-assessment. So encourage students to reflect on their learning, set goals, and track their progress, empowering them to take ownership of their learning journey. So use learning journal where students set goals and assess achievements weekly. So it encourages self-assessment to let students reflect on their progress, set goals, and take ownership of their learning. Next is empowering students to take ownership of their learning. First is setting goals. So encourage students to set personal learning goals, outlining their aspirations and areas for improvement. So it encourages students to create personal learning objectives. Kaya a student sets a goal to read one-on-one new book every month to improve vocabulary. Next is planning and monitoring. Guide students to develop personalized learning plans, track their progress, and reflect on their achievements. So you need to guide students in tracking progress and reflecting on their achievements. So you use a digital planner to outline weekly learning activities and check milestones. Next is independent learning. So this create opportunities for students to explore topics independently. So they provide open-ended projects where students research topics they're passionate about, like astronomy or art history. So in this slide, help students set personal learning goals to outline their aspirations and areas for improvement, and provide a guidance for planning and monitoring progress to personalize learning plans. Next is measuring and adapting to student needs and progress. Data-driven decisions. Use assessments, data to inform teaching practice, and adjust instruction to meet the unique needs and learning styles of students. So a teacher noticed that students are struggling with fractions, let's say fractions based on quiz results. The teacher then adjusts their lessons plan to include more visual aids and hands-on activities to improve teaching. Second is feedback and reflection. So regularly gather feedback from students and reflect on classroom practices to identify areas for improvement and make adjustments. So let's say conduct a mid-year semester survey asking students about which teaching methods they find most helpful. If students prefer interactive discussions over lectures, the teacher incorporates more class discussions into future lessons. Next is continual adaptation. Embrace a growth mindset, continuously in evolving teaching strategies and resources to meet the evolving needs of student. Of course, a teacher who initially used only textbooks to instruction starts integrating educational apps and online simulations to make lessons more engaging and accessible to tech-savvy students. By applying these principles, educators can create a responsive learning environment that enhances student success. So, a student-centered learning climate thrives when educators empower learners to discover their own potential. So, embrace curiosity and take ownership of their growth. The heart of education is not in teaching, but in inspiring students to believe they can achieve greatness. Okay, thank you po and God bless everyone.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. No, again, as I mentioned earlier, no, another essential factor is personalized learning, which tailor educational experiences to meet individual student needs. So this approach acknowledges that students learn at different paces and have a unique strengths and interests. Through incorporating differentiated instructions, so flexible learning pathways, and the integration of uh, technology, no, educators can support various learning styles. So personalized learning fosters self-motivation and encourages students to take responsibility for their own education. So a student-centered climate also emphasizes collaboration between student and educator. So instead a top-down approach, teachers act as a facilitators of learning. So guiding student in discussion, problem solving, and real-world application of knowledge. So encouraging peer collaboration through group projects, cooperative learning, and mentorship programs enhances communications skills and helps students develop teamwork abilities that are essential in future careers. So another critical component is the promotion of student voice and choice. No, when students have a say in their learning, they feel more engaged and motivated. So schools can achieve this by involving students in decision-making processes, allowing them to select topics of interest for projects, and giving them opportunities to express their opinions, no, in school policies. Encouraging student leadership through councils, clubs, and extracurricular activities now further enhances their confidence and sense of agency. Okay? Then another thing, of course, is uh, assessment, no? Assessment in a student-centered climate should also be flexible and holistic. No? Traditional grading system that relies solely on tests and exams may not fully capture a student progress. Instead, incorporating performance-based assessment, self-reflection, and portfolio evaluation can provide a more comprehensive understanding of student growth. So these alternative assessment methods recognize individual achievement and encourage continuous learning rather than competition. So to cut in short, creating a student-centered climate requires a collaborative effort from educators, administrators, students, and parents. Through fostering a culture of respect, inclusivity, and active engagement, school can uh, nurture independent thinkers and lifelong learners. So a student-centered environment does not only enhance academic success but also prepare students with the skills and mindset needed to thrive in an ever-changing world. Okay? So I think that's it for this topic. Okay, so okay na siguro yung